In the midst of Blake Lively's legal battle with Justin Baldoni and allegedly creating a false Me Too smear campaign against Baldoni, some people are more concerned with digging up past controversies from earlier in her career and specifically accusing her of rampant racism. They're calling her Plantation Barbie and Plantation Khaleesi as well. These are her new nicknames, given the fact that back in 2012, her and Ryan Reynolds got married on a plantation in South Carolina, and some people were offended by that and never let it go. This was back in 2012. Their wedding took place at Boone Hall, a former plantation in South Carolina. Ryan Reynolds later on said in an interview that the couple are deeply and unreservedly sorry for choosing that venue, acknowledging that it was a place built upon devastating tragedy. And he explained that at the time, they viewed the plantation as nothing more than a wedding venue on Pinterest, rather than recognizing its historical context. He noted that such a mistake can either cause one to shut down or inspire action. So in response to the controversy, Reynolds and Blake Lively have taken several actions to address their past mistake. They've donated $200,000 to the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund in 2020, expressing their commitment to educating themselves and raising their children to be anti-racist critical thinkers. They also launched the Group Effort Initiative, a self-funded diversity and inclusion program aimed at providing training and opportunities for marginalized communities to work on film productions.
Yeah.
So they are deeply committed to anti-racism in the Reynolds-Lively household.
They threw a bunch of money at something and then never thought about it again in their lives.
Yeah, I don't think that they cared at all about the impact.
Much like any type of department like this at a company, it's a form of protection against people complaining.
Right.
Just like intimacy coordinators. It's not because they're committed to the safety of actors. It's that they're committed to the safety of the company not getting sued.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
Yeah, they just wanted to kind of come up with a laundry list of ways they could absolve themselves of this sin, right? And even back in 2012, I think that the climate was different.
Yes.
So it wasn't as loud of a controversy as it would have been in the 2020s.
Well, yeah. I mean, even at that time, it's not like people would have been looking at, like, people just then would have started reading these headlines on their iPhone. Right. With their full, complete data all the time. Yeah. They can look at Facebook anytime they want.
Instagram had literally just started getting popular. It wasn't the same social climate. And similarly, Blake Lively back in the day did a brand deal, some kind of brand ambassadorship with L'Oreal, where she promoted their foundation line called True Match. The focus of this was to promote a diversity of skin tones in their foundation shades. And
she took the Elizabeth Warren road.
She went full Pocahontas, basically, claiming that she is part of the Cherokee Nation in this promotional ad here. Let's see it.
Are we watching this one here?
Mm.
Okay.
Allegedly, Blake Lively lied years ago saying she's part Cherokee just to be part of a diverse L'Oreal ad campaign.
California. I'm English, Irish, German, and Cherokee. So my family's sort of from
me when I'm Irish, German, and Cherokee. They say it's all in the cheekbones.
Maybe we could get sponsored from one of those DNA testing places that I will never submit my DNA to. I'm not having it on file at some.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like ancestrydna.com.
You don't want that.
Yeah. Anyways, where were we, guys? Oh, by the way, somebody in the chat asked I'm sorry, I've already scrolled up to it. It says, why does the crisis party count always say the number 1 or 2? Well, you, my friend, can help it change numbers again by getting us to a 3rd crisis party.
So what you just saw was the 2nd party. Just
Yes.
when the lights and the music go off, that's
And
the
for
party.
every $100, we have a crisis party.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
you know, you yourself, you can be the change you want to see in the world.
To the
Oliver to look back
Let's rewind.
far. I'm English, Irish, German, and Cherokee. So my family's sort of from all over. To look back far into my heritage and see where everybody came from, you know, it's neat. It's neat to be in this country that has such diversity and such culture. I'm really obsessed with colors.
I was today years old learning about this, honestly, but there was a lot of backlash back then because people claimed that she was lying. A lot of people were speaking out, including Adrienne Keene. Adrienne is an American academic, a writer, and activist, and she's a citizen of the Cherokee Nation. And after that ad had come out, she had tweeted, "Hi, actual Cherokee here. So a few layers of misunderstanding with this. She's not actually Cherokee. Folks did her genealogy." She goes on to say, main point is that she's not actually Cherokee, and these settler claims over Native identity are dangerous and threatening to our sovereignty. And if Blake is indeed lying and not
Okay. Not to be that guy that's too anti-woke, but like, how is Blake Lively lying about this dangerous?
Threatening your sovereignty.
Other than her being an absolute moron.
Yeah, when Elizabeth Warren is lying about her heritage, it's just embarrassing for her. It's not hurting anybody.
not part Cherokee and just saying she is, that is Native appropriation. And that's when non-Native people use Native cultures and identities for their own benefit. Like, I'm sorry, pretending to be another ethnicity because it profits you. You get married on a plantation because it makes you happy.
Wait,
you weren't aware it was a...
Being a minority is a benefit to you?
Apparently.
Did they just admit that?
Wait,
okay.
Couldn't she put this all to bed by getting one of those DNA tests done and those
well, that
ancestry
would prove
tests?
her wrong. So she doesn't want to do that. But she made $1 off of claiming that she is something she's not. I think what you're noticing by now, though, is this backlash is coming from generally woke people on the left who find these offenses more egregious than lying about sexual harassment from Justin Baldoni.
Yeah.
It's interesting that people have pointed out most of Justin Baldoni's support is coming from people ostensibly on the political right who are critical of Me Too, critical of feminism, critical of Hollywood in general. Yet Blake Lively is getting a lot of backlash for offenses against woke orthodoxy. Another one that came up on my timeline is a public admission on MTV from a long time ago that she did blackface. There's no video proof, there's no photo proof, but she tells people this very brazenly and out in the open.
There's something I love about just how like bad the actual rip of the video is.
It's pretty bad.
About
yeah.
how out of focus it is.
It's very authentic.
See, he laughs at me. Well,
Can I just say one thing?
Excuse me, I have blonde hair.
When hot
That's
girls
me.
say they're geeks, it pisses me off because I truly am a geek and I hate to live with that. You guys are, yes, rebuttal.
Excuse me. My best friend and I, when we were in 10th grade, we had like crazy crushes. We would drive around, like stalk these guys. We decided one night to go to the arcade where they were, and I put bronzer all over myself in a Scary Spice fro, so I thought they would think I was like a black girl. And so I could stalk them. My friend dressed up as like this goth girl, and we literally sat outside their houses.
So she was trying to be Scary Spice. She was being somebody specific. Okay.
Well, no, she did. I mean, she did say that she was hoping they would think she's black. So
that's a what they today the kids would call it a big yikes. But what it tells you is just how free everybody felt to just say whatever the hell they wanted back then.
So I don't even understand why that was her answer to the discussion at hand. Like, they were talking about who identifies as a geek or not, and she's like, I'm a geek because I did blackface. Like, what?
The
Like, I don't think we're talking about the same thing, Blake. Just Was there some kind of misunderstanding here? Is that like a geek thing? Is like blackface?
The guy's like, oh yeah, because of all the times I did that.
Right? Like,
He's like,
don't
oh,
rope me into
he's
this.
like, oh, you're a geek. Name the top 3 times I did blackface.
Right. So not really sure what she was getting at there, but
wait, is liking guys geeky? Is that what she's saying? Liking guys is geeky, and that correlates somehow to blackface?
I have no clue.
I will say this. Doing blackface is wrong. However, there is something that's unbelievably organic about just how not worried people were about saying crazy shit back then.
Yeah.
Like, the worst thing you ever did in your life, and you just admit that. Like, people would just admit that live on television.
Well, she is a bizarre person, though. I mean, like, she really, from everything I've seen.
Oh, yes, I do want to give Moonlight credit. Moonlight made the joke about named 3 times. Good job, Moonlight.
It seems like Blake really struggles with, I guess, just interacting with people in general.
Geeks would often make these jokes, would get annoyed by Hollywood, too, for co-opting geek culture. Like, they would talk about how,
Is that what she's doing?
I don't think that's what she's doing here, but the idea would have been like, look, back in the day, liking sci-fi or liking certain franchises or comics wasn't cool. And jocks would make fun of you for liking these things. And then Hollywood made it cool because the joke is always like, women say, I like geeks. The geeks they like. And it's a picture of Henry Cavill. Mm-hmm. Okay. And the culture.
Women say, I like geeks. And then it's the geeks they like. And it's Blake Lively in blackface.
The point being that, it's been co-opted and turned into something mainstream.
Yeah.
It is no longer, Comic-Con wasn't always Comic-Con. Comic-Con actually had comic book retailers at one time, or it wasn't all movies and television and stuff like that. So
I guess that was the conversation they were trying to have.
And this is actually why I would make the statement when people would say that I was a geek. I was like, actually, no, I was not ever. Like, that's actually or a nerd, right? Like, that's a certain credential that certain people have because they loved this stuff. Like, now we had comic books growing up, but I was by no means an aficionado. And I love movies and television, but that's not the same thing as these kind of sci-fi, fantasy, nerd, geek hobbies that people love. Like, I don't care about Warhammer. Don't care. But I have respect for the people that do love that stuff. So when people would say that to me, I'd be like, actually no, because you're giving me credit or credentials I don't have or have not earned. Mm-hmm. So I understand where those people come from, getting annoyed by that. So I don't think that's what she's doing here. I don't know what the hell she was trying to do, but the point being that her and Ryan are kind of being raked over the coals.
Well, now we live in an era instead where, Ryan Reynolds is playing a comic book character. Mm-hmm. And he's also been roped into these racism allegations with a compilation of old interviews. He is, quote, a certified racist. According to Melanie King on X. I cannot stand this woman's account. Just have to get that out there.
So let's watch this video.
Come up with these
hold on, let's start it from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, usually I play a strong black woman, and this time was.
I don't know why again, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt here and assume that this isn't AI because the voice and the lips don't line up on any of it.
It's the video quality.
This is obviously a big stretch for me to play a 30-something white guy.
I don't even know. Their names are all so... Well, it's the MTV. It's like I'm Black Entertainer of the Year. I don't know.
Right.
Like, it's the...
And they just come up with these crazy categories.
Yes, exactly. Best insane, monkey face. It's crazy. I think it's like breakthrough male.
Monkey face is crazy work. Yeah. So that actually happened.
So if
I'm curious about, a lot of people go through an awkward stage. Were you always good with the ladies? Did you always have game? What were you like as a kid?
No, not really. I mean, I really, up until I was like 18. I looked like a Vietnamese girl. I mean,
Okay. Not that last comment notwithstanding, monkey face is crazy work. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's just what was normal and socially acceptable and non-controversial back then.
And it was a joke.
And a joke, and not meant with any malicious intent,
No.
I'm sure.
Yes.
But yeah.
But that doesn't mean, like, the thing is like, again, my approach to these things is always like, be pragmatic. Was it a joke?
Yeah.
Yes. Does that mean that the joke is going to land? No.
Is it a smart idea?
It is a smart idea. Like, again, I'm
No.
always kind of trying to look at these things from the pragmatic
Yeah.
approach, which actually, a lot of times, like, if you were in their industry, that's not beneficial to you. A lot of times, you have to push the boundaries of what you think is going to work if you're going to find yourself. Like, we were talking about Meghan Markle earlier, and the whole point is, like, she's not willing to risk herself going that far. And saying something crazy that might land and something might not. The problem is when you go too far, then you've gone too far.
Yeah.
But the most authentic people tend to do that because in your private life, people say crazier shit than they're willing to say publicly.
Definitely. That didn't age well for either of them, for this couple.
I mean, I see it, and all I feel bad for is a society that used to be more willing to be risky with what they say. Not because I think that what you're saying is great, but because people were just less anxious about being judged for something that obviously wasn't meant with ill intent.
For me, it actually reminded me why I just can't stand Ryan Reynolds, because I hate his whole affect and his whole thing. But aside from that, I just thought it was funny how these anti-woke and woke people are converging to bond over their shared hatred of Blake Lively and her husband.
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting phenomenon to watch.
It is a very interesting thing. It's like everybody can coalesce around a shared enemy just for different reasons.
It's great. It's great when you hate the same people.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.